And so, Dan, this is what I believe. I believe that this administration, in less than 30 days, in the midst of a massive collapse, and particularly a collapse in public opinion. Della Volpe at Harvard, who's very good. I used to think, once I saw a Harvard youth poll, I discounted it. I've come to say it's a pretty damn good poll. Pretty good guy. He's gone from 53 approval to under 30 to 39. That's a collapse. And all we need to do, the analogy I use, is Pickett is 500 yards from the stone wall. Hold your fire. It's going to be easy pickings here in 6 weeks. Just lay back.
So you literally think 30 days to 6 weeks, the Trump administration is effectively going to collapse in terms of public support?
Well, it's collapsing right now. We're not.
Silly James Carville. Boy, does he wish we were collapsing. So obviously we got to talk about James Carville today, because actually CNN brought him on and called him out, because that video, that clip that you just saw there at the beginning of this video, was a little over a month ago now. And he predicted that by now the Trump administration would be utterly collapsing, completely collapsed. But of course that hasn't happened. And CNN actually did some journalism for the first time, you know? They actually did some unbiased, somewhat unbiased, as unbiased as CNN could possibly be, I guess. But they actually did something at least a little bit right, and I want to talk about it because it's hilarious watching these folks, you know, try to talk their way into Democrats being relevant again. It like the whole, and I made a video on this, but it seemed like everybody was trying to say that, you know, the Trump administration was gonna collapse and Democrats were gonna rise up again, and it's just like not happening, not by a long shot, right? What are you talking about? As a matter of fact, Democrat approval is continuing to plummet. The last number that I saw was 27, so it's continuing to drop. But with that being said, let's jump into this clip with Smirkonish and Mr. Carville. Let's dive in.
And make the American people miss us. Joining me now is the Ragin' Cajun. He's a veteran political consultant, co-host of the Politics War Room podcast, and the man behind Bill Clinton's 1992 campaign victory. So a month ago, here's the full quote of what you wrote, James, in the Times. At this rate, the Trump honeymoon will be over. Best case, by Memorial Day, but more likely in the next 30 days. And in November of 2025, we start turning the tide with what will be remembered as one of the most important elections in recent years, the Virginia governor's race. You know that we extended this invitation to you a month ago when you first wrote those words, because we thought, what will Carville say when that deadline comes? What are you thinking?
Well, what tense are we on? Is it collapsing or has it collapsed? That's the only argument to have. And I was wrong. I said Memorial Day is before April Fool's Day, which the Trump administration should make a national holiday because it so accurately represents who they are. So I'm not really, we're not arguing when we look at what's happening in the markets. We look at what happened on Sigelgate. We look at what's happening all around us, treating measles with apricot pits or something like that. I think the thing is collapsed, but I'll go to you. Let's take the middle ground here and say it's collapsing, and I'll meet you halfway. But that's about all I can do.
Harry Enton, I really respect his opinion. He crunches numbers for us here at CNN, and he spoke to Trump and right track, wrong track numbers. Let's roll the clip and then have James respond. Go ahead.
Sure.
All we talk about is how unpopular Donald Trump is. But in reality, he's basically more popular than he was at any point in term number one, and more popular than he was when he won election back in November of 2024.
I mean, James, to have these numbers and be any other newly inaugurated president, you'd be regarded as a disaster. But for him, doesn't Harry have a point? His base is holding, and as compared to his other numbers, he's doing quite well.
Well, he's a mathematical genius. He knows algorithms. He knows regression analysis. He can look at things. Myself, I'm a humble political consultant. What I look at is election returns. Yeah, voters voting. If you notice, Trump couldn't put Stefanik as UN ambassador because they were scared they were going to lose a district that Trump carried by 20. I'm going to read the election returns in Wisconsin on Tuesday night. I'm not going to do a regression analysis or anything or complicated mathematical formula. So I guess what it comes down to, I'm just too dumb because I'm.
Mind you, this is the same guy that said that Kamala was going to win. This is the same guy that was looking at the betting markets and was like, well, let them drive it up in Trump's favor and then throw all your money on Kamala and take the winnings. Something along those lines. He didn't say those exact words, but it was something along those lines. So, yeah. And yes, do we know that the Wisconsin Supreme Court election is an important election? Yes, it is. And I've talked about it several times. So if you live in Wisconsin, make sure you go out and vote, okay, if you haven't already. And if you want to get involved, you can get involved with someone like Scott Pressler's organization to get involved with that as well, to get more people out to vote. Because that's usually Republicans' big issue, is these smaller elections that aren't presidential elections or even midterms sometimes. The smaller stuff tends to be a little bit of an issue, getting Republicans out to vote or caring to vote. So hopefully that doesn't play out in Wisconsin. The guy is making a comeback right now because Trump actually endorsed him and made, I believe, a campaign ad for it as well. And then these smaller elections in Florida, I believe it is, the candidates aren't losing, but Trump is just like, bro, if we lose the House, then that's just going to derail everything. So yes, he put Elise Stefanik back in her position so we can keep the House. Like that just makes, it's common sense. When he was taking people out that were in the House and in the Senate, I was just like, I'm not really a fan of that idea. You know, I think Republicans that are already in position, I believe Kristi Noem was the governor of some state. Like me personally, I don't agree with that idea. I think if there's great Republicans out there, they should stay in the positions that they're in. They shouldn't leave those positions to go to a cabinet position, because what happens after that? You know, let those people stay in those positions and let's go find some other great Republicans to be in the cabinet. That's just me, but y'all can let me know your opinion on that. But him moving Elise Stefanik back, that's no cause for concern. That's just ensuring that we can keep the Trump agenda moving forward, because we know if Democrats take the majority, which that's why this Wisconsin election is very important, because that Supreme Court, the Democrat Supreme Court judge already said she's gonna. That there's going to be some redistricting going on in Wisconsin if she wins. If Democrats take back the House, Trump's agenda is cooked. It's over. It's over before it even started. So that's majorly important. But let's jump back in.
I'm a guy that believes that winning elections is the most important thing there is in the United States.
When you wrote in the Times and you spoke of rolling over and playing dead, you said, allow the Republicans to crumble beneath their own weight and make the American people miss us. But if the approval rating of the Democratic Party is at 29%, according to CNN's data, who's missing Democrats right now? They might be upset with Trump, but who's really missing the Democrats?
Well, first of all, this is a glorious opportunity for the Democratic Party to redefine itself, to take this as what it is. And apparently some people in the news media are not. It's the gravest crisis we've had in the United States in the last 80 years. You understand what we're looking at? We're looking at the kind of end of the rule of law. We're looking at nincompoops and blockheads and buffoons running the country. And if Democrats...
So what was happening under Joe Biden? I rest my case.
And again, I had no idea. I thought I'd have to wait longer for the imminent collapse. It happened even faster than I could imagine. So I don't know exactly what we're arguing about. They won't run in a plus 20 district. I don't think they're going to do that well in Wisconsin. Let's see what happens in Florida. But you got people that represent states and congressional districts that have a 15, 20 or more partisan lean to the Democrats, and they're kind of motor mouth caucus. Get elected governor of Georgia, then I'll be impressed. Or do as my friend Andy Bashir did, get elected governor of Kentucky, then come back and see me. But
okay,
I do think
staying,
the party can redefine itself.
Still staying focused now on your side of the aisle. Here's what Governor Newsom said last night to Bill Maher. Roll it.
We just have to continue to talk to ourselves, or we're in the same damn echo chamber. These guys are crushing us. The Democratic brand is toxic right now. We had a high water mark 2 weeks ago, and that was a CNN poll at 29% favorability. It's dropped in the NBC poll down to 27%. It's one thing to make noise, but you also have to make sense.
He says the Democratic brand is toxic right now. What are Democrats doing to fill the vacuum or the void that Trump is leaving open?
Well, let's see how toxic it is in Wisconsin, all right? I mean, the toxicity is relative to your opponents. The second thing is, I'm not going to get bent out of shape about the party rating in March of an odd number year. Let's see what happens in Virginia. Let's see what happens when you have these really, really talented people run for president. This whole thing is, the Democrats, they went 27, what they going to do? They have a chance to redefine themselves, to talk about issues that matter to people, and get away from this idiocy, plus 25 Democratic identity politics, which hurt us more than anything. But I think we're away from that. And I think you see some real talent. But it doesn't matter what the party rating is. What matters are elections. I cannot drive that point home enough. They did a movie about me, and I love the title, Winning is Everything, Stupid. And the reason people don't like the Democrats is we didn't win. And until we win, I'm not going to like the Democrats.
Final comment. This comes from a critique to your Times op-ed of a month ago, the Muhammad Ali, the rope-a-dope.
See, the problem with James is this. He seems to think that the Democrat Party is going to all of a sudden rebrand itself and get away from the identity politics. That is not the case. That's not the case by a long shot. I mean, we see it with, different things like the establishment Democrats being pushed out, like Chuck Schumer, right? You see the AOCs, the really, really far leftists, pushing away folks that are far left, like Chuck Schumer, trying to get him to step down, right? There's even been rumors that AOC may run to replace him. So when you got stuff like that going on, like, no, you first off, your party's in shambles. Because even if you want to take it down to a smaller level and you want to look at Cenk Uygur, right, who's most definitely a leftist, even tried to run as a Democrat, but he can't because I believe he's not even an American-born citizen. But Francesca, who he used to employ, like literally was going at his throat because he wasn't far left. He's not far left enough. So when you talk about getting away from identity politics and all of this nonsense, your party is diving deeper into it. And the people that are closer to the center, they're turning on those folks. Cenk Uygur, who was trying to be closer to the center, going and talking with somebody like, I believe it was Charlie, or going on the show with Charlie Kirk, right? The Gavin Newsoms of the world who are trying, right? Now, obviously, we know these folks aren't completely genuine. Especially somebody like Gavin Newsom, he's still far left. But at least he understands, I gotta at least seem like I'm closer to the middle if I actually want to win. But instead of the Democrat Party embracing that, the Democrat Party is pushing those folks away. They're going after the people like Gavin Newsom, the people like Chuck Schumer, the people like Cenk Uygur. So no, your party's not getting away from that. You're going deeper into it. And America at large does not like that. We just proved it. I mean, look at the backdrop. When you have a daily mainstream media news cycle that is all Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, where the coverage is 90% negative for Trump, it's not, on the other side, it's 90% positive for Kamala, and you still lose, that says something about your party. You're broken. You're broken. When you are hemorrhaging voters before the 24 election, and then come 2025, you're still hemorrhaging voters because Democrats are making terrible decisions. And I've shown you guys some of those clips. Of people saying, yeah, I will never vote Democrat again. That's in 2025 that they've made that choice. I will never vote Democrat ever again. When Democrats are sitting down, when little kids are being honored, like y'all are so lost in the sauce. Y'all are so lost in the sauce. And honestly, I'm having a good time watching it all fall apart because you deserve it. You deserve every bit of it. Every bit of it for what y'all did. lying to us about Joe Biden, saying that's right wing. What they say? What was the phrase? What was the term that they had used? It was like right wing, not conspiracy. It was something else that they had said. Right? Not propaganda. Oh, crap. It was a term that they used. Basically, people on the right were lying about Joe Biden being incompetent. We were right the entire time. We were right the entire time. They have done nothing but lie to us the whole time, from top to bottom. Remember they lied to us about the laptop? Oh, no, that's a right-wing conspiracy theory. The laptop isn't real. They just want to win an election. It was true the entire time. As a matter of fact, we got 50 intelligence agents that signed this letter that says that the laptop is fake. See, those right-wingers, they're all liars. No, we weren't. So as far as I'm concerned, y'all deserve every bit of this shit that's coming y'all way. Every bit of it. And I hope y'all never win an election for the next 40 years until y'all are a completely different party. Completely different party. As far as I'm concerned, I don't feel bad for you at all. But that's just me. Y'all let me know your thoughts and your opinions on that. Thanks for tuning in. Peace and love. I'm out.